other thing I wanted to ask y'all about. Are y'all going to watch the Daytona 500 Sunday?
Yeah, I probably will.
I won't
At
go.
least at
I
least
won't.
a few
I won't
laps there.
go.
I will not go to watch it at Daytona 500, but I will watch it somewhere.
I did not
We weren't
anticipate that
expecting
you
you to
were
be
going
there.
to Daytona.
Oh.
You barely leave your house. Are you going to be tuned in? Like, does the Daytona 500, like, I think we're probably your typical NASCAR used to be fans, but don't really keep up with it anymore.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
well,
I'm
we watched a little duel last night.
Yeah.
I didn't even listen.
I
didn't
who
know it
won?
was the Daytona 500 weekend until we were talking about a possible reschedule for Sunday if the rain was bad this weekend. I can tell you, I'll probably wind up tuning in, but I'm not going to plan my day around it.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that's a good point. Like, we contemplated, and in fact, if the weather was nice, temperature wasn't going to be cool Sunday, there's a good chance we'd have tried to run. We'd have tried to get the weekend in and race on, knowing that we'd likely be racing on Sunday. And we did think about it, and it was, it was a factor into why we went ahead and postponed. But at the end of the day, the fact that we even considered racing against a dirt track race against the Daytona 500, and there is Duck River is running against them on Sunday with their show, and there's tracks doing that, shows you just how far the grassroots racing racers and racing fans have separated from NASCAR. 'Cause I guarantee you, 10, definitely 20 years ago, that wouldn't even been considered. Right?
Duck River is
I don't
racing
think.
against the 500 on Sunday, aren't they?
Do what?
Duck
Yeah, that's what he
isn't Duck-
said.
Oh, you did say that? I'm sorry.
This is
Yeah.
Duck River. Here's
Oh.
another point. I think you have a better chance of getting a decent crowd racing against the Daytona 500 as a local dirt track or short track than you do racing against the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
Is that if that tells you, like, I think you would rather race against the Daytona 500 as a local track than you would the Super Bowl. If that tells you where as a sport, our racers and race fans are what they're interested in.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, I don't know if that's significant or not, but
Well,
to me, I was thinking
here's
about it the other
one
day.
thing here's one thing that stood out to me. I seen some stuff on Facebook where I think Michael Waltrip was at Volusia last night. Was it last night he came over there?
I believe so. Said they should make a Netflix special out of it.
Yeah, it's like he's never seen it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like we've been knowing this is good stuff.
This is cool. They should make a Netflix special about it.
Yeah.
We've been saying that for years.
Well,
You ever heard of Hunt the Front?
Jr.?
I don't know. It's not that I don't want to watch or just like, oh, I don't like NASCAR. I see a lot of people say that. Like, oh, NASCAR, I don't know. It just at some point didn't interest me anymore like it did when we were, kids in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. And we were going to watch the whole Daytona 500, most of it anyway. Definitely not going to miss the last 20 or 30 laps or whatever. And like the only reason we had a TV in the shop growing up was to watch NASCAR on Sunday. You
get finished up washing the car from Saturday night. You go in there, it'd be on the whole time.
Right.
But you make sure you caught the last few.
Yeah. And then that I got to where, okay, I'd keep up and I'd make sure more Sundays than not that I'd watch the end of the NASCAR race. Well, then that sort of went away. And now it's like, I can't even remember who won the championship last year, to be honest with you. Y'all know?
I honestly don't.
Oh, no.
Good
question.
Chat.
Who's
Who
the
won
reigning
NASCAR?
NASCAR Cup Series champion?
Who won the 500 last year?
Was it last year when it was that Ross Chastain run around Martinsville wide open when they
that was 2 years ago. Now I do remember
serious?
that. Well, that
2
was
years ago,
wasn't it? It wasn't last year. It was the year before last when he did that to make the next round or whatever.
That got my attention.
Yes, because you used to do that on the NASCAR heat.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I will say I was thinking Tennyson went through a spell where he watched a lot of NASCAR stuff on YouTube. Remember, because he's really interested in Dale Earnhardt for a little while. Right. But he kind of got out of that phase, and now he's all into sports cars and watching those types of videos. But I did, because Monday they're out of school, so I mentioned the Shadows, like, me and him we could leave, Saturday evening, whatever. We could go down there and watch the 500, and he wouldn't miss any school.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
I'm
Good idea.
thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. I'm leaning
Yeah.
toward it. But at the very least, I will definitely try to catch some of it on the TV.
You might want to check the weather if you. Do
Oh
decide
yeah,
make
it's supposed
that
to
trip.
rain down there. I know Saturday.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
Well,
I feel like we're throwing out a lot of criticisms.
Blaney,
Chris,
Ryan-
Dale,
Dale
Ryan.
Blaney.
Ryan Blaney won.
Dave Blaney.
yeah. Oh, Lord.
I'm too busy
Yeah.
to watch, pay attention. Like I can barely keep up with dirt racing, and I'm interested in that. You know what I mean? I just I just don't have time to keep up with it anymore. It doesn't seem. I don't know who any of them are, and it seems like they change paint schemes and numbers a lot more than they used to. Like, you knew who Jeff Gordon was and Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace. Like they had the same for most of their career, looked the same, right? So you knew which car they were in.
I just feel like the class of drivers, the people, the familiar names, like the superstars of the back in the day, like they all retired. None of them are out there anymore, and I just have no idea who anybody is. Like who I grew up, my dad grew up, like who he was watching and who I was watching because my dad was watching them. Like they're not there, and they're just. I just lost interest. I guess I don't have anybody that I cheer for or root for or care to see win or lose or whatever. That's where I'm disconnected. Yeah, I'm disconnected in that form. Here's the thing: it's not far stretched that we're not interested in that because, like, I mean, we do talk about sprint cars a little bit. We just did today, but like, I feel super disconnected from sprint car racing, and they race at the same tracks that we race at.
Yeah.
So it's not far stretched for us to not be connected with asphalt racing and what's going on there. Like,
It's no longer seen to me as the same. Like dirt track racing and dirt late model racing is always been a niche of motorsports, right? And it's been, but it's always been seen as racing, right?
Right.
Or at least was. Now we've gotten so far removed from that and bigger, right? Our niche is much bigger than it was 20 years ago when everyone was into dirt racing, was into NASCAR, a lot of folks anyway. Whereas now it's so different and it's its own thing, right? Like dirt track racing is its own thing with its own individual, distinct divisions and niches, underneath it, that it's hard to see it as a part of, underneath NASCAR as a part of this bigger motorsports, sport and world, right? So maybe it's just the fact that we just separated out as a sport and become our own thing. It's still loosely associated, but the expectation that dirt track racers and dirt track fans should be NASCAR fans maybe just no longer applies, no longer will. It's just separated itself so much that that's no longer consistent.
Well, I think it said something when, to me, I don't know of any, 10 or 15, 20 years ago for sure, a top dirt guy, especially young and up and comer, would have happily left for NASCAR. You know what I mean? But you don't really see, I don't know that dirt guys are aspiring to jump over and go try to make it in NASCAR. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Davenport did some.
He ran
what did he do?
He ran
at
Bristol, the dirt
Bristol.
stuff. Yeah, I think Bobby drove a truck a time or two. I know McCready, what was that back in 06, 07 or something, and tried to did some stuff in NASCAR. Didn't Josh Richards? Did he?
Yeah, he did
make a jump over there.
He did some asphalt pavement stock car stuff, and then I think late model stuff, and I think he went into had some ARCA or something,
right?
Something.
Then of course
program, but kind of fizzled out.
Tyler Reddick, obviously, but I think they were kind of they had a plan for him. You know what I mean? And it just was smart to involve some dirt racing along the way. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe I'll tune in. Maybe I'll end up, me and Tennyson will hit the road and drive down there. But if nothing else, we'll watch a little bit of it. I done been telling him Daytona 500 is coming on Sunday. We're going to have to watch that.
Yep.
If nothing else, I'll take a nap.
I'll tune in for the last 20 laps.
Yeah.
Or so,
Somebody wake me up with 20 to go.
Last forever.
Yeah.